Welcome to our lovely future humans, our 5D collective, to the IHP community, particularly those of you who don't tune into YouTube. So we had a short, if it went live. It might not, but it should. And in that short, I share with you how to stop suffer bypassing and my window of tolerance secrets. But obviously, it's not just mine because I'm a human like everybody else. I'm only human after all. We don't have to suffer. Okay, so some, humanly speaking, don't suffer because that's why the window of tolerance. So you work with your temperament, intensity, and sensitivity. You work with your personality patterns, and that's why you have, let's see, what was it? Your values, check. How your emotions work, check. Your thoughts and your behaviors, check. All of that stuff is yours. So you're a self that's intact. That's why your childhood is intact. And wait a minute, yes, embodying that wholeness. I learned all about the words. Attachment trauma educated I am. And I'm going to bring it to you Maria's way. It's called Be Yourself. So authenticity is an intact self, but not everybody has that. Okay, so the ones who don't, you can put a hand on your heart for our brothers and sisters of the 3D, 4D frequency, dimension. Basically, they don't do the ventral pivot. So they don't know their window tolerance, and or they don't want to do the I'm going to become nervous system sovereign. It's none of our business. As I have a 3-year-old, you have a 3-year-old. That's the ego. It doesn't die. Actually, the spiritual bypassing community are also somatic bypassing because they continue to do the we suffer life, and it's not everyone. You can't tell people that suffer life this stuff because they don't believe in the attachment trauma education. They don't believe in mindful therapists. They don't believe in doing that which is work that would benefit them. So if I say, let me give you a fish, I'm sorry, I'm a goody two shoes. I can't give you a fish because that means I don't love you. So what is love? It's not hurt. Love is, I don't have a bypassing charge narrative story for myself. Here's my feelings, anger. It's about, I want to correct something. Sadness is, I wanted to connect, but I think we're not going to. And fear, well, physical safety is my most number one motivator. That's where your temperament gets motivated by these things. So for me, panic attacks, the most annoying of my light body, rainbow body expansion as a mystic spiritual one who doesn't bypass the somatic. It's my resource. And there's your embodied divine feminine who doesn't get captured or tested by any masculines. That's the oneness with lovely God, all that is. And when yesterday I said all of God's children are perfect, but healthily, what I meant is that it's once they have access to themselves, that they will be that perfection, and they will be also one of a kind. All you need is love and healthy fear. All you need is love and healthy fear. And it's so sad that they lose their innocence. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. Oh yeah, there is. I can't make someone fall in hard to believe. I'm the first to actually believe in the science that explains how they could regain their entire inner essence, their soul, their self. You use whatever word you want. Honestly, I have never really given quote unquote two shits of the words. No, I don't give a shit of the words because the words don't mean anything. I give the shits of, I know there's a 3-year-old in every single human being, and it breaks my heart. My 3-year-old heart. But that's why I make fun, and that's why, as God chimed in a month or so ago, I was like, okay, I got it. So here, you want to learn the secrets? Oh, okay, here's the secrets. So humanly speaking, I don't suffer. Number one, I was raised with God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. So in my good Christian Catholic catechist upbringing, I was taught how the gift of life is a miracle. And as a child, I knew the miracle thing. And I do believe it a miracle that I am a mystic today. I never thought in a million years I'd have clairs. No, we're not anointed. Please don't use ancient textbooks. See, people that want to use these ancient stories, they make me think of, no, I already know what they're doing. Okay, so leaders lead by discerning, and followers follow by distorting. Once they distort, they're continuing to project their charged narratives, the suffering bypassing bullshit stuff, and I have all the understanding in the world of what it means for people to go on a journey with mindful therapists. It's called We're Going to Get You Out of Hell, and every time you fall back down on your maladaptive patterns of behavior, we're going to lift you back up. And that's why the people like myself and Jesus who shared turn the other cheek, forgive for they don't know. So anybody who's actively at this point in our era wanting to talk to you, I'm going to get calm right now, about God and spirituality, if they don't know how to forgive, they're not yet embodying the compassion that, as the Dalai Lama pointed out when he called out to all of them, hey, we all have always been talking about getting people to be compassionate. And we have now the attachment trauma education and the physiological explanation I do to tell you what it means. Insula lights up the amygdala because it's alerted to something needing my attention. My temporal junction, because I will relate to the past, my experiences. Luckily, I'm a clear vessel, so I know that not all of my past experiences are correct. I will be able to notice I have no physical danger in the room. Healthy fear is this. And moving my prefrontal cortex, what I got, 1, 2, 3, 10, how many suffering human beings I have in front of me. Or in my sphere, as you're opened up to your oversoul and the entire planet. And thank goodness you then are opened up to the galactic stars, because they're all doing great and dandy. So that 4D, 3D bandwidth that you've heard about, yeah, remind yourself, just think of it as a big trash can with a bunch of shit in it, and I'm being as calm and passionate about it and just letting you know, here you go, it's a bunch of shit that you can transmute anytime. All you need to do is read some of those poets and musicians who are continuing to do what they do best. I'm sorry, there's other soul age groups like the Zen master who has laundry when he cries. This is my humor, and people like you faking it, or you're just a bitch, or you have no feeling. Oh no, I have feelings, I just have depth of intensity and sensitivity. So this is storytelling besides the 3 secrets. So you know what happens when you have one twin flame, you think, wow. And when you figure out that they can't handle emotions, you are patient and kind and all of that. And no, you don't think of yourself as a stupid human being. Okay, so when I see the men and women out there who basically have this little suffering thing based on heartbreak, I just remind myself I was a teenager once, and I know what teenagers did, and I didn't do what they did. Because I'm like, okay, look, I promised Jesus, God, and Holy Spirit I'd forgive. Some people don't know how to love. That doesn't mean they don't deserve it. And so, calm, stop the spiritual bypassing, somatic bypassing. So when you stop the suffer bypassing, it's because you're not bypassing the emotional charges. So when you're activated, the window of tolerance doesn't break for those who are nervous system sovereign. So before we keep going, so I don't lose you, I don't suffer life, and it is not because I'm lucky, although I will say I'm lucky, because trauma is not the event, trauma is the response. And so my embodied brain, I have a twin. We have different temperaments. We have different personality patterns. We have different ways that we will have engaged in that which is our immediate alloparenting, her and I, and our basic primary caregiver, and then the other ones that came along. We all have 5 alloparenting at least. So before I move forward, where is my temperament is the inborn neural propensities and architectural mental organizations of the nervous system. That includes features like sensitivity and intensity. Personality patterns is a collection of values of how emotions, thought, and behavior happen across states of self and stages of life. Then we have our mind, which looks for patterns. It looks for your own pattern, by the way, because we have our default mode network that actually makes a map of ourselves and others, and it is activated even while you're sitting down and doing nothing. These are explanations from lovely Dr. Danny Siegel. Not quoting him verbatim, but basically he's the one who made me aware of how amazing our embodied brain is. The brain is the anticipation machine, which, by the way, is in a survival way. So when people are falling back on that suffering crap, I'm going to tell you how Maria feels about it, because that's exactly how I feel every time. Now, you have to have suffered. You cried. Yeah, I cried like big girls cry. Anybody? So you learn from the past. It lives through you. And there you go, bottom up. That's how I discern. Oh, my temporal junction. Oh, look, let me move my prefrontal. It's not Maria's shit, it's someone else's shit. So let me put my 3-year-old and 4-year-old and all my teenage stuff to the side and remind myself there's either empowered ones who are enlightening or suffering ones who, with their unsteady self-image, ignore a man named Patrick Tiahan to go get themselves healed instead of go to Boca Raton. And so with that, the past gets filtered through the top down, my mind. So the why of the mind, and here's the passionate human being, Lisa Feldman Barrett, as she points out, the mind keeps account while the body, sure, keeps a score. So embodied brains, anyone who wants to talk to me about enlightenment or empowerment or being a spiritual one, by the way, might I add, all of our brothers and sisters are angels. None of them are more special than others. None of us are more anointed. And when someone thinks that because we have clairs that we are more special than those who are in the other group, that's not another group. You're not being tested. unless you're an insecure human being. And when you see a bunch of insecure men talking about being tested, you think, okay, you obviously don't know what life is made of. So how about I try to share? You're not an object, but hey, if you want to get tested, go keep getting tested. I'm testing people. No, I actually observe people. I observe how they treat me. I observe how they treat others. I observe every word that comes out of their mouth, not because I'm afraid of them, because I'm trying to notice how many different ways they can inform us of their insecurities. And so they come together, the camaraderie of those who suffer life, and with their unsteady self-images, they feel strong. And I say, wow, thanks God for chiming in. Forever growing. Yes, I'm totally a child. And I totally enjoy bringing all of that child to the forefront, because she won't be hidden just because some people are Aladdin who ran away. No, Aladdin lied to Jasmine. Or Peter Pan who ran away from home and his shadow. So when people have the shadow to blame and they continue to use stories and they don't notice themselves projecting, being charged, continuing their window of tolerance, it weakens. I don't give you a fish. I teach you how to fish. There's personal growth, spiritual growth, mindset practices, journal prompts on PayHip. There's guides for people who are nervous system sovereign. When someone's telling me they know how to be themselves and I spot their bullshit, it's like, okay, you're really irritating me because I don't like liars. That's my 3-year-old, but I learned manners. So the secret to window of tolerance is that some people think we can't access it. Oh, you better bet I love when I see groupies telling everybody how we're supposed to suffer life like they do. If there's one thing I can inform you of, the good Christian Catholic catechist didn't understand how literal I was. So when they said, God gave you a gift, don't you dare in any way, shape, or form. And Jesus suffered. I was like, okay, don't worry. I made a promise. I promised. So I didn't struggle with it. I just remembered I made a promise. Okay, so today I can tell you 3 ways you can do it too. Number 1, you have to have that intact self. And I said have to because there's no way you have a handle on your window of tolerance if you can't be aware of yourself and then maintain your steady self-image, which means you need to know how to differentiate and link. When you explain this to someone who's in therapy and they look at you like this, and those of you who are hearing me, you don't see it. My mouth is open and my eyes are like, and that's the exact look of a person. I know that look because tell me 1 kilometer. This is me. Oh, you can't see me, the ones who hear me. I'm like, I don't know. Is it this big? Is it this big? Is it my brain doesn't like when it can't embody knowledge because now I feel stupid, but I'm not stupid. I'm just mathematically illiterate somehow. No, you know what? I bet you neuroscientists would be able to take a look at my brain and say, okay, here's the practices you could do. Not a 28-day app. No, the neuroscientists, though, yeah. Maybe one day I'll see if they want to scan my brain. That would be cool. Okay, so when you understand what it means to embody knowledge, it's because you understand it. When you see someone not knowing what you're saying, there's no energy vampires. You don't need to cut cords. You don't need a spell to keep yourself safe, but you do need to know how to differentiate and link so you can move into your prefrontal cortex. You take in with those mirror neurons, which some of the scientists don't believe exist because there's not enough data, but others will tell you about somatic countertransfers. This is the amazing embodied human being brain of us. So with all that being said and done, it's really easy when you know how to ventral pivot your way through everything because you don't want to suffer life, because why would I? Holy Spirit, Jesus, God bless me with life and all of that, which I can do. So there's the narrative. No, there's the proactive capacity to spot. I'm sad because I wanted to connect. I'm angry because I wanted to correct. I'm afraid because I want certainty and I can't have any. Oh, yay. And there's your right mode and your left, and the metastability from the flexibility and the pushing to the edge of criticality of the flow state. So this, what you see is the phases of flow: flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable. Dr. Daniel Siegel's acronyms. And the flow state is from the neuroscientist. Fly like an eagle, and here's where. Selflessness, Maria's not here. Timelessness, oh shit. The body's like, effortlessness, where are you at? And I remember those moments. Richness, and as you empower more and more, it's a blissed out life all the time. Spiritual bypassers just keep using the same words. I bring the human elements to the spiritual and spirituality elements so that you can understand science is not bullshit. Actively holds down the fort, and anytime a spiritual one is enlightened, it's going to be, here's how I'm going to help you fish. You have a nervous system, number 1. So you become nervous system sovereign because your self is intact. Number 2, means your childhood is not integrated. So you've integrated all the stuff. Now you have all of it clear. You have yourself clear, so your personality patterns, your temperament, and yourself with the steady self-image. You don't use maladaptive patterns of behavior. Drinking, drugging, fucking, all the shit that happens in college. You start meeting these people. And here's where, as Dr. Daniel Fox presents and other therapists, people will fall back on their patterns because we're all creatures of habit. I am one too. That's it. Micro habits. So intentional living is not boring, but you better bet the people who don't want to do any of this find securely attached, enlightened ones boring. And what we find boring is a waste of our time, our precious gift called life, 24 hours, with those who want to tell us that every human being on the face of the fucking planet has to suffer. It's like, no, but we can't tell that to your face because you think we're lying. And that's like putting a finger in the wound. And in the meantime, it's like, but there's a solution for those trauma charges and for your uncomfortable feeling. It's called going to a mindful therapist. And once you're done not doing this, I want to maybe my life now, because that makes me think of first world problems and a little girl with a juice box being offered, terrified because she's physically under threat. So I know what goes down on planet Earth. I just don't think it's my business to be irritated. No, it's because I'm mature. So when people are emotionally intense, sensitive, and mature, they don't do let me pout some. It's life is rainbows and sunshine, Sylvester, and yeah, sure, it hits you, but it's not about how hard it hits you or how you don't hit back, really. That's bad manners. I mean, you only hit back if you're in a situation. Humanly speaking, people will save themselves physically. We're all cowards. No, we all want to live life. So if I came to plug your nose, you better bet you're going to get that hand off of you. That's as straightforward as it gets. So when people don't know we need air, air is actively what we need to breathe. You notice they have distanced themselves from objective reality. Flat earthers, thanks for checking that corner. And when people don't like to hear about the nervous system sovereignty stuff, it's because they don't want to do it. But we're not going to do, let's pat them, let's make it invite you to, No, I'm going to say, look, you got two options. You can join the group that likes to suffer life with their unsteady self-image. I'm so sorry, where are my manners? They didn't choose to be drama kings, queens, or anxiety addicted. However, they did choose not to take and acknowledge the good therapists out there who are defending them, taking their side and saying, here, we have tools for you. Here, we have all this free stuff. Here. Oh, and then when they become a group, there's your bypassing again. So when someone doesn't realize that humility is where I can understand what subjective reality is, which is why subjective experience with humility means I respect that some people suffer life. Why don't they know how to respect, embody the knowledge that some of us don't suffer it? And I don't need to say I'm lucky or unlucky, but you know what I do? I got lucky. What can I say? I'm a dumbass. Because that's exactly how you're going to have to look at people as they look in your eyes with their trauma charges and don't acknowledge the one thing that you know. You're very illogical, irrational, inconsistent, a buffoon. But hey, clown, facade friend, I love you. Can't wait to see you when you come here. And that's how you always will be with people, because there's still that little 3-year-old in there, that essence of life. Remember how they say see source in everyone? Yeah, source is pure love. When you are ready for that which is your nervous system sovereignty, head on over to PayHip for a deep dive. There's an executive summary to the lovely accessible guide, and the accessible guide is for purchase. That one is a basic, as you will see. There will also be the regulated leader. That's for those of you in specific types of positions like myself, whether you're a mentor, professional, marketer, lead in companies, HR, whatever it is. But that's for someone who has a bigger objective, because you're ready. And your sovereign blueprint, that one is actively more on that nervous system sovereignty with effective realism and with I forgot right now all of it, but that one has an executive summary too. And there's a free PDF for a 10-minute ventral pivot in the moment, and then we're going to have another free PDF and another guide is going to be added at some point. So when I was growing up, I didn't know any of the words, but I did have the capacity to get rejected at 4 and get told it's okay, we're all different. I got disowned at 8, and I got to be told it's not true, and then I got to learn that we all play life differently, okay? And then with the whole twin flame stuff, what I can tell you is that you don't suffer them. You actively get irritated by them. And that's why when you will find what spiritual bypassers have to do with this twin flame stuff, I'm just going to leave it alone, because I have words to say to people who were teenagers and didn't grow up, but I met them in college. They don't know how to dissolve into light, because they don't even know how to sit in that which is called the lovely unknown. So unknown, darkness, let love transform you, or lovely right mode. I was looking for another card, but I don't know if I'll find it, and that's because I wanted to share it. Just, this is the Rumi Oracle deck, if you're curious. Maybe it'll be here. Oh, and this is how it feels to be embraced by lovely God, or if you prefer to talk about Gaia. Also, the restorative embodiment, when you learn from the lovely good therapists, they inform of how it feels. And also they inform us, lovely Debdana, of how a person who is not used to ventral vagal, sitting in it for even just 5 seconds, has this thought arise. After about 5 seconds, I can't feel safe. Something wrong's gonna happen. Something bad's gonna happen. And that's why some people say, you never forget your trauma. And others will say, you are the one who's in control and empowering yourself. And with the knowledge, the left, you have words. My trauma charges, my act, whatever words will be. Okay, this is my window tolerance. Okay, what worked for me this time? How was I able? The breathing activates your parasympathetic, if I remember the words correctly. So that's why breathing, but it's not one breath. It's rhythmic breathing. That's why there's box breathing. But I'm a human being who has a window tolerance. And it's only, once again, you are aware of the difference between I'm self-regulated right now, I'm dysregulated right now. So the panic attacks, I'm under one and I'm writing, okay, you're really agitated and in charge, so I don't really think this is the best time to do this. It's okay. I won't have expectations. I'll just make the right choice, and that is let me not make any kind of mean words, and let me just share how I am feeling. This one's also beautiful, just so I can share it. And so, oh, by the way, the 5 elements. Yes, I love, oh gosh. I mean, it's all amazing. You who show the way. And as for the other cards, we'll leave these ones alone, but this one's pretty. So the paintings, all of it. Okay, I will say, if you do want a quick 3-step, again, to be reiterated, check out the shorts, or the short, and from nothing to everything. Well, we really weren't nothing. We were infants. And so the impossible made possible. There are those who will tell about how life is when you have an intact self, when you have a childhood that you say, yeah, we all have things that take place, but you didn't lose integrity and you didn't lose your heart, because you can't. It can break, because everybody, when we get rejected, the same part of the brain lights up. It's like being stabbed physically in the heart. And some people will say, yeah, and you'll bleed. And I'll say, no. No, because I don't actually compare physical to emotional and mental. So I understand that for some people, they equate them the same. I don't, because emotional and mental, I empower myself thanks to that somatic resource and the mental resource. And that's the part of why there's a difference between those who feel safe to be themselves and to deal with all of that, which are people, and know, yeah, it's 50-50. Some people are going to be differentiating and linking like we, and others won't, and it's okay. We can all live life the way we will feel it, because we all do that. The first thing is you feel it. So you see life the way you feel it. Acknowledging that you feel first allows you to work with it, and as you work with personality patterns and temperament, you continue bringing forth the best self, and you allow others to bring forth their best self, and then we keep moving into the future. And so some will suffer and some will not, and at the end of the day, we will respect each other's choices, and we will continue these conversations. Check out PayHip and subscribe. Let other people know about the channels, and have a good one.